Hello, I'm so excited. I'm going to be with Julia from Our Simple Song today. We're talking about low waste family life. So I know she'll hop on in just a minute and I'll invite her on here. Hello, B Shields. So I'm excited. She has a beautiful blog that has so many wonderful tips for parents and families. Hi, Libby. Hi, Jessica. And let's see. Ooh, A&H Lip and Body Butter. Shout out. You know that's my favorite. And there's Julia. Okay. So I will invite her to come on here. Oops. Sent you a request. Hello, Rebecca. Oh, Rebecca. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, yay, good.
We did it.
I'm so
So
happy to be here.
Julia, oh my goodness, Stacy and Rachel from Decoding Couples. Hello, ladies. They've got little ones at home. So we tried to do this months ago, and then, mom life happened, but we're back. We made it. Um,
Yay.
Yay. And I actually got connected to Julia from Our Simple Song through Soulful Somatic Therapy. She's on here right now because you two, and that's Britta, you two know each other from, mom life. And she's like, I think you guys would have a lot to talk about. So I'm so excited to have you here today to talk about low waste living and how we can just start today. With our families and with our kids. And you have a beautiful blog, like so beautiful, guys, that you can check out.
Oh, thank you.
And then,
Thank
yeah, it's gorgeous and very informative too. But I'm very visual, so I love the visuals of it. And then
you.
also
Me too.
you have Our Simple Song and you have Mothering Earth too, which I notice has a little bit more of like a breakdown of the tips and things like that. But let me know like what else you would like to say, where you're coming from, and introduce yourself.
Okay, sounds good. So hi, I'm Julia, and let me know if I'm cutting out at all, because for some reason my internet seems to be a little funny right now. But I'm Julia. I started Our Simple Song, which I created after the birth of my second child. I had always been kind of, eco-minded. I grew up in Marin County, if anyone knows that area, and always kind of had like green living on the brain. But then after the birth of my second son, it kind of hit me what world we were bringing our children into, and that I realized there was so much more that I could do. So that was the beginning of our journey. So here we are. I
Wonderful.
don't
And
know.
what
Am I
is your
cutting out? Can you
tagline?
hear me?
Because I can hear you. I'll tell you if you're cutting out. What's your tagline? Because I think it's like a great way to start.
My tagline is "Have less, be more. It matters." So the
Yeah.
idea that here, I'm going to close this over here, and hopefully my internet gets better because I'm breaking out. So have less, be more. It matters. The idea that having less and just being present more and being aware of our choices.
Yes, we are taping, so we'll go ahead. We'll repost it later. Oh, I think we lost you for a second, Julia. So I know I love that her tagline is just around like being present and just really the things that you bring into your life aligning with your values. Let's see if she'll be able to come back. Okay. And so some of the things that we're going to talk about today are like plastic free July, like different switches that you can make that would be pretty easy. And there she is. She's going to come back here. And then I loved a lot of the things that she talked about in terms of the values that this helps teach your children as well. Hello, we lost you
Hi,
for
I
a
know.
second.
I was
Hi. Okay, but I
This
started to feel
seems to be
people.
better already. I think we're
Yes, you're like visually less pixelated.
okay.
So I was telling them a little bit more about your tagline, and then some of the things I wanted to talk about today are, we know we want to talk about reducing our plastics and just some easy switches that we can start with. And then I think the other thing I wanted to talk about too is sort of that eco anxiety that you shared. I
Yeah.
put that in my polls yesterday, and so people related to that of like, I want to do something. I know it's really important, but what do I do? And it's where do we start? And what is, I think we can be really hard on ourselves, right? Do we do it well
Totally.
enough, right?
Totally.
So I wanted to talk about that. And then, yeah, so why don't we start there?
Yeah, that's a great place to start. So for me, it definitely, my whole journey totally kicked off with an eco anxiety like explosion of like, oh my God. And I totally freaked out. And so if anyone relates to that, you are not alone. Um, so yeah, eco anxiety, I think one way, and I think this really relates to the parent self-care, is like realizing that that's coming from a place and then empowering yourself to make changes, because I think sometimes the only way out of anxiety is through action. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, that's how really this whole journey began. So yeah, there's so many small swaps that really do make a difference. And us as mothers, when we start really doing this collectively, it really does have a huge impact. And so us all working together, creating a better world for our children and tapping into that anxiety and using it to fuel us is definitely powerful. And we are super powerful. So we can do this together. So basic swaps. You can start, I like to focus on different areas in the house. I feel like that's a really easy way to just kind of like narrow it down, because it can feel so overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think like we'll start with like the laundry room, for example. A simple swap would be to switch your laundry detergent. You know, a lot of times we get it in these big plastic containers. You can get laundry detergent plastic free. Also, a lot of the plastic free options are also better for your family. They're better for your children's health. There's a lot of fragrance in them. Environmental Working Group, if you're not familiar, they have an app. They also have a website that you can go on and you can type in like the laundry detergent you use or the dryer sheets that you're using, and actually you'll find that a lot of them are really toxic. So making a switch, our family uses, I always pronounce their name wrong, but it's Meliora, I think.
Okay.
And it is EWG, I think it's an A rating, and it's they are B certified, B Corps certified. They're Made Safe certified. They're vegan. It's great laundry detergent. It gets out all the kids' stains and all of that. And it comes in this tin that is metal and cardboard, and it's
Yeah.
recyclable, but it's also refillable. You can order like in a paper bag. They'll send you refills, so you don't even have to actually get a new recyclable container every time, which is great. You can reuse
So,
it.
and where, because I know this is like so second nature to you, but where would you get
Yep.
it? Like
Um,
where are we shopping for these things?
Yeah, so online there are a bazillion zero waste shops. So if you
Okay.
just go onto Google, nice zero waste shops, um, there are a lot of options out there. There's zero waste store. There's plastic free. What's it called? It's called Plastic Free Shop, I think.
Okay.
There are a lot on there. So you just go on there and you're going to find a lot of these products on there.
Okay.
That's probably the best way. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon as well. But personally, for me, we try to shift away from Amazon and support small businesses. And a lot of the plastic free shops will also ship plastic free. So they're also really
Okay.
mindful about their shipping, even the packaging tape, because packaging tape is plastic. You know, they'll do
Yes.
paper tape and things like that. So I really recommend doing searches for that. So there's this, there are stain, they make a really great stain stick. The one that we have is by Ethique, this brand, but it's instead of using the spray stain removers,
Right.
it's plastic free. And also, so it's just like this, you like get water on this little bar, you rub it on the stain and it gets them out. And I have two boys,
Okay.
so I totally understand stains and dirty
Yes.
clothes and kids being kids, you know? So
Yeah.
these are really great. And then and dryer sheets also are made of, have plastic in them, also super toxic. So an easy switch is a dryer ball.
Yeah.
And this will also save on your energy bill because, you know, obviously using energy, turning on any appliance uses energy, which then is essentially emitting greenhouse gases if you haven't switched over to green energy yet. So, and not everyone has that option. So this will actually also save you time because it reduces drying by 25%. Your drying time. So
Awesome.
yeah, there's usually they come in packs of 6. They're wool dryer balls that you can use them a bazillion times. And if you really like that, like fresh dryer scent or whatever, you know, the dryer sheets, you can also put essential oils on your dryer balls. And
Okay. I
then
do like the scent.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And so Simple Teen Life is saying they try to avoid Amazon as well when they can. And then what is the dryer ball made of?
It's wool. It's 100% wool. So they're not vegan if you're vegan, but they are wool. And you can use them. I, I mean, I don't really think that they ever end. Like
Right.
we've had ours for 6 years and they look exactly the same. And my kids
Okay.
like to pretend they're snowballs and throw them around when we're folding laundry. So win-win, right? You get to have some family fun too during laundry.
A toy as well.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you when this will happen because we're both busy moms, but I am definitely going to interview you for our blog. And then we can just put some links in here to some of your favorite things as well. But I'm sure we can all Google and all of that.
Perfect.
Too.
And also if you do head onto my blog, I do have all of my favorite laundry. I have the best of section. So I do best of laundry. I can't remember which other ones I have. I have like 4 or 5 of my best of products.
Okay. And I can link that up later in my stories.
Perfect.
Can the ball be a DIY activity? I mean, or do we just buy it ourselves?
It's a felted ball, so I'm sure that it could be. I am not the craftiest of person, and I think that's something that also people need to know, that being green, like you do not have to just DIY and spend all of your time like making things, and there are products out there that can help you. And actually I have found that sustainable living, people think it takes all of this extra time, but actually it has saved our family so much time and created more time for what's really important in being able to be together and then doing activities together as well. So some of the things like the food prep and things like that to help us for the week to reduce food waste, getting the kids involved in doing things together.
I love that. And I want to talk a little bit more about how you can involve the kids. Just from our other conversation, there's things I remembered that I wanted to share. But I also say one myth that Julia sort of debunked for me when we had talked like on a Google Meet before this, because you look at Our Simple Song and you're like, oh my goodness, this is this beautiful page. I'm like, that's what your home looks like, right? And she's like, no. So I think sometimes we also think if we're doing this sustainable living that you're going to live in this like minimalistic, just everything so well organized home. But you're like, I got young kids running around and like, it's,
we have Legos everywhere too. So, and Legos plastic, like, so I think the big thing is, you can be totally minimalist, but sometimes when you're minimalists, it's kind of like, there's like this sphere and it's like, it's all related within sustainability, but you could be a minimalist, but still, do an international flight every other day, and you could still be eating beef every day, and you could still like be buying expensive products that are made of plastic. So I think that it's minimalist is a wonderful thing because obviously you're consuming less, but I think that there are also still ways to kind of live our lives in the way that we're living them currently, but to do that more sustainably rather than feeling like you have to like stop everything and cut out everything. So it's like we still have all the toys, we're still doing, the kids still get new things to play with, but we buy them all, or we don't buy them, we get them all secondhand on like buy nothing groups and things like that. So we still have the stuff, but we're just not adding to the wheel of consumption.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have lots of places I want to go. Did you want to do one more room just to talk about that? Or did you want to? Okay, let's do one more room and then I have some questions for you.
There's so much stuff and packaging and things like that. So bathroom is like a really simple place to start. And the first thing to do before you go out and buy anything is to work through the cosmetic graveyard that exists in the medicine cabinet. So like,
what are you talking about?
I know. What? No, who has that? So like, I mean, all of the like lotions that are hanging out in the back there, like the body wash that you were not that crazy about, like, and maybe you're not going to use it. So maybe it's a scent, or like my son has super sensitive skin. So we had bought like soaps at times and then he got a rash. So it was like, we just stopped using it. So then it's sitting there. You can go onto a buy nothing group, post it and get rid of it. So like moving through the things in your house that you already own is the most sustainable thing that you can do. It's not necessarily about going out and buying everything plastic free. Like using what you have is the number one step. So, so bathroom, starting to work through that Cosmetic Graveyard. And then from there, as you've used it, also once all of that sunscreen from last summer is like used up, looking for things plastic free. So we talked about the plastic free options online. So the zero waste stores and plastic free shops and things like that. So like this, for example, can you see it? So this is our sunscreen. It comes in a compostable tube. This is SPF 30. It is also like coral reef safe. So one of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of is what's in their sunscreen is not only bad for their bodies, but it's also bad for the environment. So when you go in the water, especially if you're going on vacation this summer, any place with coral reefs, it actually kills the coral reefs. The pollution is one of the number one things that is killing them. So making sure to look at what's in your sunscreen, but this is a really safe one. And this is called Butterbean Organics. We love it. But there's a lot of brands out there. This isn't the only one. There's ones that come in like little metal tubes. There's compostable, there's refillable. So just looking for plastic free options.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Toothbrushes. So here's a super easy one. They have kid size, adult size. These are bamboo toothbrushes. So that's a super easy swap to make. And then when you go to the dentist, just tell them that you don't want the one that they offer. So refusing is another easy way to be sustainable. So it's just saying no, right? So no, I don't need the whole kit I have when I need it home. And yeah, so a bamboo toothbrush, that's a easy one. And I just had my dental check and my dentist was like, keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm like, it's all sustainable. So I'm so happy after 3 years of doing that, my dental care still looks great.
Yeah. You're like, I got approved. I got the check mark.
I'm officially approved at the 3-year mark. I mean, I go every 6 months, but it's still going strong. So, and then toothpaste, an easy one. So this is, it's back. Oh, there. David's. It comes in a metal tube.
Okay.
So there's that one. There's a lot of different brands out there. This is Bite, which is they're little tablets that you put one in your mouth and you bite down. See, they're like this. It's minty fresh. I can smell the mint. And you just bite down, and then with the water on your toothbrush, you just brush your teeth, and it creates. Yeah, and it comes in a little glass jar.
Interesting. Okay. I've never seen that.
And for kids toothpaste, I haven't found one so I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I haven't found one that's in like a gel, like a tube form that I love. So actually, if you have older kids though, Bite does come in one that has like a fruity flavor. Okay. So if your kids, like my kids think mint is like really spicy, mom. Everything's spicy. So this is too spicy for them. So if they were older, I would get but the 2-year-old, I don't think he's like ready to do this. So we, shocker, still use plastic for the kids with their toothpaste. But we do choose one that's organic, and we do choose ones that's bee certified, which means that they make ethical choices for the planet and for their employees. Which to us is, so even if it's sometimes being sustainable is not black and white. It's not like it has to be this or it has to be this. It's making the best choice that you can, given the situation, given your budget. So given what you have access to. So sometimes, so it's not everyone. We all can't make the same choices. I can't make the same choices as even another person living zero waste. There's not one way to do it. It's about finding what's sustainable for you and your family. Because if it's not sustainable for you, you're not going to keep doing it. So it's about finding what works for you.
I think that's so important, just to really emphasize that it's not really rigid, like this way you're doing well, this way you're failing at it. I mean, that's just such a message for us in everything, in parenting and life. And I see Mimi said here that you're such an inspiration, just focusing on the little steps and not getting so overwhelmed, like you have to do 100 things today.
And that's
soulful somatic therapy.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, they love the bamboo brushes. Oh, and there's even an alternative to Bite tablets at Target, which is great, from The Help. Do you know that brand, Julia?
I don't know that brand.
Okay, so that's somewhere. Okay, or no, Hello, from the brand Hello brand, not from The Help, because we're all at Target sometimes.
Yes, and Target also has a lot. So where did I put it? I have deodorants. I don't know where it is. I put it around somewhere, but deodorant in like it's a compostable tube.
Okay.
And native.
Yeah, native.
Yeah, they're made in San Francisco, and now they're at Target. So you
Okay, if
could kind of
anybody
start.
listens to podcasts, you know about Native. I feel like they advertise hard on the podcast that I'm listening to. I didn't know they were a local brand.
Yeah.
That and Casper mattresses, people. I mean, have we heard of those? Because if you're listening to the podcast, that's what's there. So I'm glad that you like that one.
Yeah.
And Simple Teen Life is like, yes, having a non-judgmental attitude is so important. Nobody's going to feel good learning and trying new things if they feel like they're being judged and they're, that doesn't feel good.
Totally. And also, I want to also emphasize, like, as you start out, not biting off more than you can chew. So like take it one room at a time, one place at a time, focus on the closet, your closet. So focus on just buying things secondhand, ethically offloading stuff. So like, don't just drop it at the donation center. If possible, post it on Buy Nothing, because donation centers, like 80% of what we give is going to end up in the landfill.
Mm-hmm.
So by making sure that it's finding a home and someone who's actually going to be using it is a really productive way of getting rid of things. So
And
it's
I
just
will say
focusing
too,
one space at a time.
yeah, one space at a time. I think there's Buy Nothing groups, which I didn't even know of until I talked to you. I think when I posted that on our stories, almost 60% of people had never heard of it before. So can you just share a little bit about like the Buy Nothing groups and just how that can create community too? Because I think as parents, we're always looking for more community.
Totally. So Buy Nothing is through Facebook, but there are other ways to do it too. I think Buy Nothing has kind of become, it's like the brand name now, like when you say, oh, I need a Kleenex, it's like a tissue, you need a tissue.
Yes.
It's kind of like that. But so there's other ones too. There's Freecycle, which is another great option.
Freecycle. Okay.
Even on Craigslist, there's like the free section.
Right.
There's a free section on Craigslist. So any of those kind of resources, our preschool actually has an email list for people who are trying to get rid of things. So we have like our own.
Okay.
So you can even create one within your circle of friends or at your school. If there isn't one in your area, but just look Freecycle or the Buy Nothing group through Facebook. And generally a lot of people have found that there is one in their area, and surprised to learn that I had a friend who lives in like a very rural part of the US, and she was surprised that there was one in her area.
There was one there too.
Yeah.
So I think
you just go on and you post things, like anything. You could post bottles. You could post, oh, I have like a box of Ziploc bags, and we have it now that we've become plastic free. We haven't used a Ziploc bag in 3 years. So, does anyone want this? Oh, I have half used things of Windex that like we just aren't using Windex anymore, and now I have it. Does anyone want it? So there are ways to that's how we get so much of our stuff too, from like clothing, oh my gosh, baby items, right? Like if we're all probably parents at this point on this, listening to this particular chat, but like the amount of baby things that we have all bought and gone through and things like that, like I think once you've been through it once, you realize, oh my gosh, there was like really no need to buy this thing that my kid didn't even like, right?
Right.
So like if you can test things out and get it for free and see like, oh, this item didn't work and I can pass it on again. So anyway, it's a great resource.
It's awesome. And I think my other image or like myth that I had was that your kids were in your home with like a couple dryer balls and no toys. And you're like, no, we got all this stuff too. And I love what you said. You're like, we do toy rotations too. And also the thing that I really love that I remembered from our conversation is you said the way I talk to them about their toys is that you're taking good care of it because we're going to pass this on to someone else. And I just loved that. I think it's such a great way, a great message to instill in our kids.
Yeah. And we try and talk about how we don't own any of these things. We're the current keepers.
Yes.
So we currently care for these things, but ultimately a lot of these things will exist plastic will exist in the world for forever, right? Or a very, very long time. And so it is our responsibility as humans on this planet, our family feels, to care for the things that we have in our possession and then, pass them along. And so just instilling that in kids is, it's just a great time to learn that lesson, right?
Yeah. And then also we had talked a little bit too about seasonal eating and how that sort of impacts your kids. I wonder if you could share a little bit about that with us too.
Yeah. So, little things. So the importance of eating seasonally, we all hear that, but I don't know, for me, I don't think it really landed on me. Like I don't know, hit me until we started living this way. And the idea that your food is coming from far away places if you're not eating seasonally.
Yeah.
So it reduces your food footprint when you eat things that are grown within a certain, close radius of your home.
Yes.
So there are certain foods in particular that get like air freighted in. And so their footprint is like so astronomical. There's not a lot of foods that get air freighted in, but especially here in California, we're so lucky.
Yeah.
But like things like asparagus that's grown out of season, berries that are grown out of season, they have to come in from somewhere. And because they're perishable, they get air freighted. And so massive carbon footprint of those foods. So eating seasonally is just one of those things that we try and look at. And it is so wonderful, the joy that my children experience. Like, strawberries, we're so used to seeing them in the grocery store year round, but now my kids, we only eat them when they're in season. And literally it is like Christmas morning when we have strawberries, the first strawberries of the season. It's like strawberries, like that joy and that connection kind of to the seasons and the earth and the world. Like it just, that joy, it's so wonderful to see them be, I don't know, connected and excited about food, right? And to feel grateful and appreciative. Like they're not throwing those strawberries on the floor or like leaving them in their lunchbox. They're like, wow, this is a strawberry, and so it's pretty exciting.
Well, I've seen too, like at my my youngest daycare, they have tomatoes that they grow, right? So I just think when kids feel more a part of it, they're a little bit more open to trying new things, or just getting excited because they feel a little bit of an ownership in the process.
Yeah.
And I live in a shared space, so during this lockdown, there was a couple where we lived and they created a little garden area and the kids got involved in that. And I just think they get so excited about it. And it's just like a fun thing to do as a family, or like Soulful Somatic Therapy says, it's like mindfulness, right? Being more present, slowing down a little bit and enjoying those things. And I feel like we didn't learn this growing up, right? And so these are things we're trying to educate ourselves about now and pass down to our kids. But I do think we're really lucky in California because we think about eating seasonably, or different restaurants will say, we're using stuff that we grew or stuff in the seasons, and that's not everywhere. So I think,
so again, it's about doing what you can. And really, if you are looking to reduce your food footprint, reducing the amount of meat that you consume, beef in particular, that is something that most people can do and take a look at. So an easy place to start. I know some people are just tried and true, like I can't give up my hamburgers. So a place to start would be Meatless Mondays, to think about it that way, or think, just during the week we're not going to eat beef, and then the weekends we can, or you can take it a step further and just say we're just going to have it on celebrations, or you can cut it out completely. It's like, again, there's no rules, and it's just, and like Britta had said it's about mindfulness. So it's about becoming aware of our choices. And even as small as like turning out the lights when you leave the room, it's about being just grounded in the moment, in the space that you're in, and then making a choice that's going to be the best choice that you can make. But there's no perfect, there's not anything that's going to be, the like ultimate. And because there's also no end to this, like it's your life, you're alive, and so you're just going to be doing the best that you can for as long as we're here, right? There's not, like, even having lived zero waste for 3 years, we still make mistakes, things still happen, we get a plastic thing, like, and in the beginning, we're so hard on ourselves, especially in the beginning. At least I was. I am such like that's always been one of my things that I've been working on, is like self-love. And I would just be so hard on myself. And as time's gotten by, I have the critique in my head. It's also part of that mindfulness practice. It's being aware of like, what is coming up in this moment for me? What am I? So it's all connected.
It's all connected. And I think, Soulful Somatic Therapy even talked about compassion before. So it's trying to speak to ourselves with compassion, to be forgiving, to make the next best choice for your family, I've noticed as a parent too, once you start talking about these things, and they're talking about it more in school too, which I love. Like
Mhm.
when my oldest will come home and they're like, well, this was going on, and what do you think of that? That you can talk together as a family about what your values are and ideas that they have. And they'll remind you, like you need to turn off the light, mom. Or, it's like once you start talking about these things, you
Totally.
have these little global citizens who are helping you as well. And it's cool.
Totally. Yeah. And even our kid, when we were in the grocery store once and he was like, Mom, is it plastic season? Because he sees all of the berries in plastic. And I was like, oh, unfortunately, it's always
It's always
plastic
plastic
season.
season. Okay, so before we get to plastic season, because I think that's one thing I wanted to talk about too with
Yeah.
July next month coming up, is just, I mean, I was so basic when I talked to you, but I imagine there's other people who are really new to it like me as well, but just really emphasizing that, when we grew up, the message was recycling. And that's wonderful, right? That's a place to start. But really what I got from you is like, if you can buy less, right? If you can just use all the things in your home, it's a lot more about reusing first, and then recycling's great, but that's sort of not the first thing we're trying to do. And
Right.
that was new to me. And so I don't know if you
Yeah.
wanted to like share a little bit about that too.
Yeah. So reducing, reusing, refusing. So again, like
Yes. Yes. Refusing.
refusing. So like we said, like saying no to the plastic toothbrush at the dentist office,
Mm-hmm.
or the freebies that come with stuff. And with kids, they feel like there's freebies that happen,
Yeah.
and when you have the option to say no, to say no. So refusing being number one, and then reducing what we're bringing into our lives. And we're not even, this isn't even just plastic, just reducing in general the amount of stuff, the amount of packaging, like looking for
Yeah.
package free options. That's, these are important steps. And then recycling is kind of, in a way, almost one of the later steps.
Right.
So we don't want to just think of that as the ultimate answer. Paper can only be recycled a total of like 5 to 7 times before it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with plastic, can only be recycled 1 to 3 times. And black plastic can't even be recycled in most places. So
Yeah.
it isn't the answer. It is like, yeah, we just need to try and avoid recycling. So a good place to start when we started our journey was actually doing a trash audit, and it was also including recycling bins. So
Okay.
being home now, I mean, we're starting to go out into the world, but being
Right.
home a lot more at this time, you do kind of start to see what's in your trash bin for a week. So you kind
Right.
of you collect your trash, and before it goes up to the bin, go through it, do it, like make it a family activity, get a check, like a clipboard and some paper, and go through and see what's in my trash can, like what's in my
Okay.
recycling can. And for us, it was so much online shopping in the beginning. Like it was so many Amazon boxes and food packaging. Like those were our 2 biggies, and every
Okay.
family is going to be different. But those were some big ones for us. And that gave us a way in to see where we needed to start. And
Yeah.
then seeing like, oh, we have like 6 of whatever the, yogurt containers, like what is an alternative for that? And so like I said, every family is going to be different. And so finding what's your way in is that's a good way to start.
Yeah, and I will say just for me, I think during this time I've been a little bit more mindful of like supporting small businesses and things like that, but it's not realistic for me and my family to not shop at Amazon at this point, right? And so I think some of the things we talked about is like opting for the slowest shipping speed, so you can bind all your packages and you're not getting like 3 boxes with whatever's available first. And hopefully really knowing the things that you are going to buy and like, so that you're not doing a lot of returns, because then you're adding back to that. I know a big step for me with Amazon was just switching my book purchases to bookshop.org, and just going to a smaller place, and they don't ship as quickly as Amazon, and like that's okay. But I think it's like a retraining for us of not having that immediacy. And there's certain areas in my life where I'm still going to need that. At least that's where I am right now. But I just think a lot of people are thinking about that. But for many of us, we're probably not ready to completely break up with Amazon or certain things. So I love that you had some ideas ideas about how to sort of slow some of that down and make some different choices within that.
Amazon also sells used items, so you can buy things used. You can buy used books. I mean, I 100%.
That's true. Yeah.
But if you are sticking with Amazon, if you're not ready to make the jump yet, it took us, and trust me, it took us 3 years to break up with our Amazon Prime.
Okay, so that, I think that is very validating for people.
Yeah, it took us
Julia from Our Simple Song, it took you 3 years to break up. It's a process, like anything big value change or change. It's a process. Okay, cool.
And by the final year, the only reason that we still had it was because of the kids loved some of the shows on it. So I wasn't ready. And then at a certain point, I was like, we got the PBS Kids app. We're making the leap. If there's like 1 or 2 shows that you really love and we want to buy, we'll just buy those. Yeah. And like, that was really the only reason. By the last year, I think we'd only bought like 1 thing on Amazon, and it was because we couldn't find it anywhere it was else. Like a lock for the refrigerator, and I couldn't find the one that we had from before we started living zero waste. Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but it did take a long time. And so it's like, you don't have to go cold turkey. You don't have to do it overnight. But it's just about like these small steps. It's chipping away, and it's kind of like the iceberg. It's like there's the small cracks, the little pieces that fall off, and then all of a sudden this like chunk falls into the water, right? And it's like we learn to just kind of retrain some habits. It takes some time. I always say it's kind of like moving to a new city. Like you first get there and you're like, oh my God, where's the grocery store? Like, where do I go? How do I get around? And then like some days you feel so lost and it's hard, but then like slowly life is totally normal again, right? Like you get into your routine, you figured it out. And so again, it doesn't have to be quite that dramatic, because you can take things one at a time, small steps, a room at a time, but just being consistent and persistent, I think, is just really important, and making it a goal. And I think we should talk about Plastic Free July, because I think that's a really good segue. So giving yourself a month. So Plastic Free July is coming up. There's a thing called Plastic Free July. It's actually, you can follow Plastic Free July. Okay. It's like a movement. Okay. And trying for a month to cut plastic. Certain things don't fall into the category. So like medication, you're going to still keep taking your medication. Yes. Like you're not going to not get it because it comes in a plastic tube. You're going to get the kids inhaler. Like that doesn't count. And things that you already have don't count either. So like your car seat is made of plastics. Like your stroller has plastic. You have toys in your house. None of that counts. It's about trying to avoid buying new things. It's refusing the plastic straw. It doesn't mean you need to go out and buy like all of this plastic free stuff. So if I just said, like your toothpaste is already in a plastic tube, you haven't switched over yet, fine, keep using that. And then if you need to buy a new thing of toothpaste and there's none in that drawer in your bathroom, it's sitting in the back, then go out and look for that plastic free option. And it's just trying to navigate and kind of it's a month. Yeah. You're gonna have things that come up. But like, can you start carrying a little utensil kit? Like get one of your kids extra pen holders, or one of those cosmetic cases that I'm sure, I don't know, I feel like I have a bazillion in my drawer of like those freebie cosmetic cases that I used to get. So throw a fork and a knife and a spoon and a bandana in there, and throw that in your purse or in your diaper bag. And as you're out, like try and not get the plastic, to go things. Carry your refillable water bottle. So those are really simple ways to just start diving in and give in the parameters of a month, and see what you can do.
I love that. And I think, and you have like a no buy challenge, I think, on your website too for a month as well. So that's also something people can explore. As a therapist, like you're speaking to me, because when we talk about making change with clients, and when I think about making change for myself, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There was, I think like, what's something that's really caught on is like 21 days to a new habit. And in reading BJ Fogg's work with Tiny Habits, he's like, the research is actually not very strong on that. And so it takes more than 21 days, right? It took 3 years for you to slowly just make that change that felt consistent and persistent with Amazon. And I think little things over time add up. And I think even for like Plastic Free July, even if you tried it for like 2 weeks instead of a month, I think we'll learn a lot, right? At least for me, I'll learn a lot more self-awareness around my habits, and just, you know, it will probably give me more ideas because it's a little bit of like a focused awareness for me.
And talking about the community, because I really think that I was surprised when I started living this way, the community that I would feel behind this, and actually like the sense of faith that was restored in humanity in a way of living this way. You know, when you go onto Buy Nothing groups and people are giving their things away for free, and things are often like they're really nice things on there,
Yes.
you know, and people just that thoughtfulness and that caring and that like giving of one another and paying it forward.
Yeah.
I think that there's that sense of just like connectedness. And I think through Plastic Free July, if you start it, and you can follow Plastic Free July, like I said, on Instagram, and starting to build this community around it and realize like you're not alone. And yeah, some days are going to be hard and other people are feeling that too. And like everyone's along and people aren't judging and like everyone's just trying to do their best, right? Like we're all just trying to do our best. And like raising children is hard. And like your kid is going to have that freak out and want the like whatever in the store. And sometimes you can say no. And sometimes like, it's just they get the thing, you know, and it's just the same way. Like don't beat yourself up in those moments, and don't beat yourself up when, you know, the waiter, you asked for no straw and they give you the plastic straw. Like, it happens, right? We're human and we're just doing our best. So I think I don't know, there's a couple of thoughts in there. Being compassionate with yourself, being compassionate with others, and then the community that comes with this lifestyle. And I also felt like a long time ago growing up and before starting this, like there was just kind of the rat race. Like there was this never enoughness. Like, I don't know if everyone feels that way, but I really did. Like not feeling like I had enough. Like people are doing this, like they're going on these vacations. Like how come they can buy all these cute new clothes? And like, I feel like I'm just working so hard. And like, I don't know, just this feeling of like never enoughness. And honestly, this lifestyle like really removed me from that feeling, and just the abundance that I realized that I now have, the gratitude, the connection to others, the connection to like that I can have everything that I need, that I'm part of this community, and like we support one another by sharing things with each other. Like, and even in Buy Nothing groups, you can ask for things that you need. So
does anyone have this?
So it's not even like you just have to be on there looking every day. You can write ISO, which is in search of like a specific item, and someone might be like, oh yeah, like we're ready to get rid of ours. Like I hadn't posted it yet. So like just that as mothers too, in particular, like we are going through something, and particularly through this pandemic, like it's been hard. And to know that you have people to lean on in this group, it's really, it's empowering, and it's also connecting. And I think that I didn't anticipate that at all when I started on my sustainability journey.
Well, I think that sort of wraps up from where we started, right? You have this eco-anxiety, you care. Once you learn more, it's almost overwhelming and paralyzing. And then having a little bit of agency to do those tiny things and sort of figure out your way as a family, and also meeting other people to do that with, I think is awesome. And particularly as parents, when we have kids, they go through different stages and phases, and they outgrow their bike or their scooter or these different things. So we really don't need a lot of it forever. And so they are in good condition, and we can share that and share with each other. And I just think it's really wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited. I feel like we packed this with lots of good stuff. I will repost this later today. Also, if you could send me the link to your favorites blog,
Sure.
I think people would really love that too. Especially if the people are like newer like me, they're not totally sure where to look for all these things. And then be sure to check out your No Buy Challenge, and we can follow the No Plastic July. So I think that's a great place to start.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for everyone who joined. Does anyone have any questions, I guess, before we hop off?
Yeah. I feel like we had so many people join us today, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it was just about some of the products in the beginning, and people really liked the idea of going one room at a time. I sort of was laughing internally when you brought up the laundry room first. I'm like, as a parent, we can all talk about that room or that place in our life.
People always say like the only two inevitable things or whatever in life are death and taxes. And I'm like, why isn't laundry part of that list, right? Like it's never ending. So I don't know.
So,
it feels like, And then, yeah, I also recommend if you plastic free July, if you're like not ready to get on board with that, on my website too, there is a 31-day challenge, and it kind of it talks about zero waste. It talks about reducing carbon emissions. There's like all of these kind of pieces are interwoven, all of these different plastic free. So all of these ideas are woven into the 31-day challenge, and it's like definite baby steps, like not overwhelming, and you don't have to go in order too. You can do it like bingo. So like,
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So day one, if like the first thing that's on there, you're like, can't do that today, but I can do like day 18, go for day 18, and you can like move around, and you don't even have to do it in 31 days. You could print it out, put it on your refrigerator, and like do it as a family and just try and get through all the things on the list whenever, you know.
That's exactly what I thought of. Is like just putting up somewhere and you get to do it as a family.
Yeah. Totally.
I love that. Okay, that's something I'm going to be doing, so I'll share that with all of you. And just thank you so much, Julia. This was awesome. So, you know, you can follow her. You can ask questions. I'll post this. You can ask questions in the comments. We'll get back to you when we can. And just make sure to follow her because she's a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you. Yeah, and reach out to you if you have any questions. You can always message me. I try and get back quickly. So I'm here.
All right. Okay. Well, bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye.